Welcome back to the Flutter GetX Masterclass. In this episode, we are stepping into the world of third-party REST APIs and user login functionality. We will explore how to interact with external APIs and implement a login system in your application using GetX. Today, we are diving into the exciting territory of REST APIs. We will start by setting up a user login screen and then use a third-party REST API to authenticate and provide user feedback. So we need to just design a simple login screen, then we will just implement the API functionality. So for designing a login screen, so we will be just creating a new file in my views directory, which will be login screen.dart. So I'll be just quickly creating a login design, which will be login screen.dart. And in this login screen.dart, I'll be just creating a stateful widget here, and which will be login screen. And now I'll be just calling my escapefold widget here, and in this escapefold widget I'll be calling my body. I'll be using a column widget, and in the column I'll be just calling my children. So in the login screen, we need a two text form field, one for our email and the other one for our password, and a button which triggered the API. So for the text form field, which is being reusable, so if you see that your codes are being repeated or redundant, so you must create a component to stop the violation of object-oriented programming, that the code is being repeated. So in our object-oriented program, we don't repeat any code to just use the dry technique. So I'll be just creating a component of my text form field here. So I'll be just creating a new directory. Basically, I'll be using new directory, which will be components. And now in the components, I'll be just creating my text form field here. So I'll be just using my text form field dot, and in this class we will be just using a stateless widget, which will be my text form field. And that's it. What value we will be getting dynamic for our this text form field, which will be the end text string and text, and the other one will be the controller text editing controller and the controller. That's it. Now I'll be just adding the final fields into my constructor, and in the return section I'll be just replacing my placeholder into a form. So I'll be using in the child section I'll be using the text form field here, which will be text form field, and that's it. Now I'll be just adding my decoration, which will be input decoration, and in the input decoration and the hint text, so we need the text which is coming from dynamically. So I'll be just adding that, which will be hint text. And yeah, now we are good to go. So now I will also provide my controller to it. So for the controller I'll be just using the controller, and I'll provide the controller, and that's it. You're good to go. Now I'll be just calling my this text form field into my login screen, which is my text form field, and we will be just providing the controller, and we will be just providing the end text. So I'll be just providing email, and now we need to create controllers in our if we are using the GetX package, so we need to make the controller in our controller section. So I'll be just creating a new file in my controller directory, which will be login controller dot, and here I'll be using the class which will be login controller, and it will extend with the GetX controller. and that's it. Now I'll be just creating the controller final, and which will be text editing controller, that will be email controller, and which will be initialized with text editing controller. And that's it. I'll be just copying in the pasting this for my password controller, which will be password controller, and that's it. We're good to go. And now I'll be providing, we will be just initializing our login controller class here, which will be login controller, login controller, and we will use the get port to start our controller. Get port, and that's it. This is login controller, and you are good to go. Now I'll be just calling my login controller dot email controller. That's it. Now I'll be just calling my this login screen into my home main dot dart to just display the screen, login screen, and I'll be just saving this. And now you will see a text form field at the top side, so I'll be just making it center by using the main axis alignment dot center, and I'll be just saving this. And that's it. I'll be just giving some kind of paddings to my column widget, which will be the symmetric one, and I'll be just giving it horizontally, which will be 20. And that's it. I'll just paste this, and there you go. Now I'll be just copying this text form field, and I'll just paste it under it, and I'll be just giving some kind of white spaces. So I'll be just using my sized box, and I'll be just giving height 20, and that's it. Now I'll be just changing this end text to my password, and this email controller to password, and that's it. Now I'll be just creating a simple button. So I'll be just giving some kind of white spaces again. I'll be just using the sized box and give some kind of eyes of 20, and now I'll be just using a container. In the container I'll be just using the child and the center, and I'll be just adding the text widget here, which will be login, and I will just make this login color style, text style, color, stop white, and we will save this, and we will just see how button into our screen. So let's just give it a color basically. So we will be just using the container decoration and the box decoration here, which will be colors dot deep purple. And now I'll be just saving this, and you see a simple button. So we need to give it height to our container, so I'll be just giving it 50, and I'll be just giving the width as the double dot infinity. So whatever spaces are available, just take all the spaces in case of width. So let's see, the button corners are too sharp, so let's just give it a radius, which will be border radius, and the border radius circular, and I'll be just giving it 15. So now let's just see that. So yeah, we got some rounded corner. So now I want to make this container or this button clickable. So I'll be just making this clickable by wrapping it with a widget, which is gesture detector, and I'll be just using the on tap functionality of it, and I'll be just making this. So now it's time to just implement the login function in our controller. So let's just create it, which will be login, and here you go. Now I'll be just calling this. So To access the HTTP method like post, get, put, delete, we need to install a package which is HTTP. I'll be just installing it using my terminal, which is Flutter pub add HTTP, and I'll be just installing it, and it will just take few seconds. So that you go, our package has been installed. To confirm it, yeah, it is available in our pubspec.yaml file. So that's it. Now we will be just uh, using the final response is equal to however. So HTTP methods are future functions, so we need to use the async keyword for our function. And now I'll be using the method which is post basically. So here you go. Now we will be just using the uri.parse here, and now we need the URL. So we are using a third-party uh, REST API website, so which is this. So we are just checking the login successful. So I'll be just clicking this login successful, and we need to give these credentials. So I'll be just clicking here, and we need to just send our request to this URL. So I'll be just copying this from here, and now I'll be just pasting it here. So as you know that post requests need some kind of data to be sent, so we will be just using that in the body part. So in the body part I'll be just sending the data which is email and the password. So remember that whatever email are given in this website for the login successful, so these credentials must be same, the key and this password must be same to send to the server. So let's just give it, which is the key was email, and where we are getting this email from. So we are getting the email from this email controller. So I'll be just calling that email controller dot value. So we need a colon here, and you're good to go. So now what was the password, and from where we are getting the password, which is password controller dot value, and that's it. So we will wrap this all the things into try and catch to just throw an exception if an exception occurs. So I'll be just cutting it from here, and I'll be using try and the catch, which will be he. So throw exception, which will be e dot to string. And that's it. In the try part we will be just pasting our that code which we have just copied, and if these are sent, so we will be just checking if the response status code is 200, then just show a message. If it is not 200, then also show a message on the screen. So yeah, now we will be just coming out from this. So what will be, I'll be checking it with the if the, so basically we know that our HTTP data comes response comes in form of JSON. So we will be just decoding that first, which will be var data is equal to JSON decode, and we will be just decoding the response dot body. That's it. Now I'll be just printing this data also, which will be data. And now I'll be checking the response status code, which is response status code is 200. If the response status code is 200, it means that our API ate successfully, and which is the success status code, which is 200. So basically there are approximately 500 status code which are 503, 404, and many more. So and this status to code 200 means that our um, login has been successful. So if it is so, then just show a message, which we will be just getting it from get snackbar, and we will be using the title successful, and I'll be just using this login successful. That's it. Now I'll be just copying this from here, and I'll be just also doing this in a health spot. I'll paste it, and I'll be using the failed login failed, and I'll be just changing the color, background color basically. If it is error, so the color should be red, colors dot red. And I'll be changing the text color also, which will be text color, and which will be white, colors dot white. And that's it. Now we will be just calling our this login API into our login screen in the login button, which will be home tab function. I'll be just using the controller, which was login controller dot login. And here you go. When I just test it, so let's see what will happen. So here we need to provide the same credential which are provided by this website, which is hevehe dot holt reqres.in, and the password is city silica. And when I click this login button, text editing value, and we will be just checking that what is the issue. So we will be just checking that it is the issue controller, login controller, and this is controller, and we will be just going to the controller here, which will be the value.text. So we need to provide the text, and that's it. Now I'll just save this and go back to our website, and here you go. Now when I click this, so I'll be just auto starting it again. So let's just check this again, what error we will be just getting. So which is evehe.holt @reqres.in, and the password is cityslick. And now when I click this login button, we will be getting some kind of error. So yeah, it is late, it came late, so that's all fine. So I've just clicked this again. You will see a snake bar which is coming from successful and login successful. And now when I just change this email and put it a wrong email, so it will just say login failed. So that's it. And what your thoughts on integrating REST APIs for your user authentication? If you have worked with third-party APIs in your Flutter projects before, share your experiences in the comment below. That's it for the episode. We have explored integrating a third-party REST API and implementing user login functionality with GetX. In the next episode, we will continue our journey through GetX, uncovering even more exciting features, so stay tuned and keep coding with Flutter.